All right, everybody, welcome back to the Mission Roll Call Town Hall. I'll be your host today, Ray Whitaker, and of course, as always, Mr. Jim Whaley, the CEO of the organization. Jim, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing, Rand?
It's May. It's May, and I will tell you this: the weather is on a roller coaster right now. I don't know what the weather's problem is, but it's getting a little bit annoying. You know what I mean? Like It's supposed to be 90 on Sunday or something in May. What is happening right now?
Yeah, and it was like low 50s, low high 40s, I guess, last night. So
yeah.
Crazy.
Little crazy. Well, the good news got a little bit of took a couple days, as you know, went to Dollywood. So it's been a while since we've got a chance to kind of go out and do things. So we did get out of the house. It was good. Forced road march. The only thing I was missing was like a Camelback, a couple canteens on me and like 190 pounds. That's all I was missing. And maybe a reflective vest also for that. But
so you had a good step count visiting.
Yeah, it was good. I literally came home and just wanted to roll up underneath my bed. It's the true understanding that I'm getting old. How's everything on your side?
Great. Just reflecting on some of those vacations you get back and you're exhausted after the vacation, right? Because your job is to pack things, unpack things, and pay for things, right? So it's just busy. I've been very busy. I have a brand new granddaughter, as you know. So I have two granddaughters now. So spending a little time with that part of the family, and an exciting time to, just when you see a grandchild, you think about your own kids. So it's a lot of fun. So it's a great chapter in your life.
Yeah. Well, good. So I see everybody here. Jason, good to see you. Of course, we see these folks all the time, but Jason, good to see you. Barry, Leah, Roger, Megan, appreciate all you guys coming in from the team. That's for those that don't know, that's the wonderful Mission Roll Call team, some of them, and I'm sure more will be here. Juan, good to see you. Hope you're doing well today. All right, we got a pretty packed agenda today, Jim. We got a lot to talk about. Again, feel like 2 months in a row, we have so much stuff to talk about that it's going to be hard to talk about all of it. So we're going to try to go through. Okay. More importantly, we have a kick butt organization at the end of this that I just can't wait to talk a little bit about. So today should be a good one.
Good.
Okay. All right. So Veterans and Families, a monthly survey is live. Every month we come in here and we plead to you guys. I think when we came into this organization, we had this idea, and I remember Jim and I just talking about, man, what would be the variance if we created something where veterans could give their voice, and then we could help send that voice to decision makers to do it. And of course, Mike Desmond is our guy in DC, man. He does phenomenal work, just not there, but other things inside the organization. And man, what a change things have happened over the last year. And Jim, I know this wasn't on the things that we wanted to talk about, but from your perspective, surveys are like they're really important. I mean, in growing that and making it more, why is it important for vets and their families to reply to these surveys from your perspective?
Well, first of all, I think we've exceeded our own expectations and the expectations of others when it comes out about doing the surveys, how fast we can turn the surveys, and more importantly, how many veterans and their families we're reaching in these surveys across the country. And it's vital because decision makers in Washington at the House Veterans Affairs Committee or the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee, or even at the VA or local, sometimes they're just kind of grappling in the dark, trying to figure out what the right course of action is. It's very difficult for them to get unbiased opinions. That's what our poll does. And it does it in real time. And I think it has a huge impact on making better decisions. And that's why we're being called upon from the media as well as folks across the country on giving the veterans' opinion to the general public, taking that opinion, sharing it, putting it in context. It's very important because the only way we're able to get some of these important bills, and I know we're going to talk about a few of them, passed and in the agenda of voting on and getting them approved, is by showing the importance to the 18 million veterans and their families, because that gets people's attention, right? Especially in an election year, especially when people are trying to answer the call of veterans in their community, and they can see these numbers. So it's real important. And it only takes a few minutes, man. By the time to drink a cup of coffee, you could do this poll.
Yeah. And it's monthly. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so a good example is like the Richard Starr. This is completely off, by the way, y'all. I've already went far left on
Yeah,
Jim
the
here.
agenda's out the window now.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the
Right,
idea. And I sent that to him an hour before. This is kind of how we do these things. But we talk about the Major Richard Starr Act. I mean, like, this is a prime example. This is something that we've been talking about in Mission Roll Call for years. Like, this is when Cole Lyle and them, back in the beginning, and they were talking about this. I mean, I don't know the exact time, but if I remember right, it's like 20 years this thing has been kind of perpetuating, right? It's just like it keeps coming up and everything. And we did another survey this year that just asked veterans, hey, what do you guys think? Like, do you think this thing should pass? Gave the details, and still overwhelmingly, like, I think it's like 95%. I don't even know the number, like, right off the top of my head, but all I know is it was like the no line was, you couldn't barely see it. The yes line was all the way through the chart. So this is really, really important, because it's not an organization speaking for veterans. It's not a congressional leader speaking for veterans. It's not, it is a veteran speaking for themselves. And of course, a veteran impacting generation of veterans, into the future. And I think that's really important for everybody to understand, and why we're asking you to do this. Like, we literally have the ability to change the future for folks. All we got to do is take a survey.
Yeah. And I've said it a few times, 18 million people, veterans, plus their spouses, their families. That's a huge voting block.
That's right.
And it's a huge voice that
that's right.
is going to be heard when you harness all of that and you put it in front of folks that are writing bills. And that's the key now, is that we're in the process, because of the impact we've had on bills in the past. Yeah. Now, smart people in DC, that's a minority sometimes, smart people in any organization are coming to us beforehand and saying, hey, listen, can you send a poll out and find out what veterans think before we write the bill? What a novel idea. Instead of writing it in the dark, putting it out there, and then you get opposition and you get confusion. Get us in the part of making the pie in the beginning. I think that has huge advantages, not only for veterans, but for the lawmakers, because sometimes these bills, as you know, languish for years going back and forth. So take the poll.
Yeah, absolutely. Take the poll. Only takes a few seconds. Janice, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Walter, appreciate you. Hopefully you got looks like you got the link. We got QR codes and links and all. We just got stuff popping up all over the screen. So hopefully, my friend, you got what you needed. So the point is, please take a minute. Listen, every month we do these. Every month. Okay. It's usually between the first and the third, the next cycle of questions come. Sometimes these questions are based off of needs for you. Sometimes it's based off of something that's coming, right? A legislative, a bill, something that we see on the forefront, or sometimes it's things like major issues. Like, for instance, Major Richard Starr Act, that's something that just kind of popped out of nowhere. We asked the question because we needed it, so that our leaders are making the right decision for us, right? So you guys should take a little bit of time. Please follow that stuff. It's very simple. And we'll talk about these every single month at the town halls. So we appreciate you guys. If everybody's here, if you have a question, something doesn't make sense, you want us to talk about something, post it in the comments. You guys have access. Doesn't matter what channel, Facebook, Spotify, Skype. I don't know where you're at. AOL. I don't know where. I know it's on a lot of channels. Wherever you guys are watching this, post up your questions. That's part of the reason that we do this. If we don't know the answer, don't worry. We'll find it. We'll get back with you guys. And then we also have an email, obviously, for you guys to get there. Okay, Jim, next month, June 10th, is going to be the next one of these. So it looks like we're going to have that around 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to actually back this up an hour. That way, for folks that are, on different times, as far as that, we want to make sure it's during lunch. So I know we talked about doing it at 1. We're going to try to back it up a little bit. That'll be 11 a.m. Central, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard. And we'll move that forward as time goes on to make sure that we have what we need. So, yeah. So there we go. Good. All right. Well, May, Military Appreciation Month. Jim, I know both you and I worked at the USO before. Both of us served in the military. Yep. I don't think I even knew that May was Military Appreciation Month, to be fair, when I was in the military. Like, that's not something I think we talked about a lot. But it is a time to thank those that are serving right now. We got a lot going on in the world. It's not our responsibility to really talk about that, right? That's for the individual. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of folks that are out doing what they do. On top of that, at the end of the month, we have Memorial Day. And you and I both know, and I know a lot of our team we know that that's a day to memorialize and remember those that gave the ultimate sacrifice for our country. So
Right.
I just wanted to kind of kick it over to you for kind of an overview of what Military Appreciation Month is, for you just in general, and then a little talk for Memorial Day.
Yeah, well, I think it's wonderful we have Military Appreciation Month because it's an opportunity for those that may not have a direct impact with those that are on active duty or may not have served themselves. So you have a lot of companies, a lot of organizations that recognize Military Appreciation Month and celebrate service to your country within your companies. And I would urge anybody, if you're in a company or an organization, small or large, you should bring to their attention it is Military Appreciation Month. And even if it's only one person in the organization that has served, you can acknowledge that. Or if no one has served, you can still get involved. And so I think it's important as a country, we recognize that and spend a little time appreciating those that have taken time out of their life, sometimes only for a few years, sometimes for what would seem a lifetime, to serve their country and show appreciation. And so you see that in restaurants, you see that in other organizations. And I think it's important for us as a community to also reach out to other individuals that have served and show our appreciation for what they've done as well. So I think that's important. And of course, then at the end of the month is Memorial Day. And that's a time for all of us to reflect. I've had the great honor of putting the wreath up at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. All of us have participated in different events, either in our career or after our career. And it should be a solemn day. It should be a day that you reflect, and almost all of us have one or two individuals, and sometimes more, that did give the ultimate sacrifice. And it's time to reflect on that and reach out to those families and think about that. And that can be somebody right down the road from you that you may not know.
That's right.
That a member of their family has served and here's the thing, and I remember this. I don't want to take up too much time, but I remember an event one time some years ago where we brought back the remains of an 18-year-old Marine who was killed in World War II in the landing at Palau. I hope I said that right, in the South Pacific. They found his remains. They brought him back, and we, the U.S. of North Carolina, set up an event for the family to welcome the body back, to accept the body back, and then bring it to their hometown. And I'll never forget that, because the feelings, even though that was 50, 60 years ago, the feelings for that family, that young man could have died 2 days ago in their minds. Yeah. And I remember the brother said to me, I've never had one day that I didn't think about my older brother.
That's right. That's right.
And so that really struck me that, and I think we all know it just never goes away, that pain.
That's right.
And it could take a whole lifetime to reconcile that in your brain. And so I think it's an important day for us, all of us. And if we're not going to acknowledge Memorial Day as veterans and make sure that our neighbors do and explain to them the importance of it, then no one will. So
that's right. No, I had other stuff to say, Jim, and you just absolutely smashed it. So there's nothing more for me to say. So thank you for those words for sure. Okay. Ron, good to see you, buddy. Hope that you're there. Also appreciate you, man, for that comment. Thanks to all that have served. And sometimes, Jim, just last, I do have something to say. It's not just active duty. We can't forget National Guard, Reserve. Like, there's a lot of other folks that are considered, part of that military appreciation that sometimes folks don't understand. Like, they think that, hey, because they're reserve and they work at, Home Depot, and then they only come and serve. Like, they're still serving. They're still, in a way, they should be thanked, because, if things kick off, they're going to go wherever our nation sends them. So,
absolutely.
Okay. All right. So next, Jim, we got Operation Recap. Man, I know last time you and I talked, which is probably about a month ago, about like the stuff we're doing. We talked, man, there's a lot of stuff going on. This month was no surprise, even more. Like, I was going through the list, and I'm like, goodness gracious, man, it's going to take me like 10 days to get through this and kind of look at it. So for those that don't know, Operation Recap for April 26th, like, we put these out every month, and it's really kind of an overview to help you guys find all the data. There's so much data that's here. And if you can pause right there, Nate, so that they can see this part. So the big part here is there's articles, right? So we're going to put up these articles. Some of them are going to be listicle type, like here, 10 honest things rarely talked about with military spouses before first deployments. This is us talking to military spouses and getting their feedback, right? That the goal here is that it impacts a military spouse that is currently serving with their loved one, and they get an idea, kind of like us. Some of us didn't know, right? So I can ask my better half what she thought, and we can get that. So there's a lot of these type of stuff that's on there. We also have articles from folks that have lived this. So a good example when we talk about Yvette and Don and some of the amazing writers that we've had, some of them have lived through the things that they're talking about, whether it's homelessness, it's, mental health, mental wellness, physical wellness, all of these things, right? So the point for us, I think the thing that we talk about through transition just in life is that sometimes you don't know who to go to. So our hope is that these articles will connect with somebody and then they see that they're not alone. And Jim, I wanted to connect with you on that. I know we're supposed to be talking about the homelessness piece. We're going to come back to that in a second. But from your perspective, how important are all these articles? I mean, I know when we came in, you were like, Ray, listen, I want a hub. I want veterans to be able to come here. I want spouses. I want kids. I want everybody to be able to come for the first time and have a place to come.
Yeah.
Why? Why is that so important to you?
Well, I think for a few reasons. One, it can help you prepare before something really bad happens. By reading some of these articles of how not to overstep, how to help a fellow veteran, about financial things and transitional things. Sometimes you read those and go, oh, I didn't think about that. And you can put into some things into place that will avoid a mistake that may cost you a lot of money and time and heartache. I think the second thing, and probably equally important, or maybe even more important, I think by reading these articles, you find out you're not alone. That the anxiety you have over any one of the issues is felt by thousands and tens of thousands of other veterans. And that's why we have that information up there.
Yeah.
So I think that's important. And I think the other one is it gives you an opportunity to share this and use it if you're actually in the process in another veteran support organization, or you're helping your neighbor, or you met somebody at church, or somebody that you served with years and years ago is now on hard times. You can go and take a look at this and go, okay, here's some resources I can use. And to your point of a hub, I think it's really important, and I think our team has done a fantastic job doing it, is to provide information in a user-friendly way that you can go in there, find the information you want. You can either find a VSO, a veteran support organization, by zip code, by geography, by what they do, and then help yourself or your family or a loved one kind of get plugged back into the community, or maybe fill a void in your life that you need to address. And I think all of us, at least I think for almost everyone I've ever met, the common denominator of anyone, regardless of branch of service, is we like to serve, and we like to fix things. We like to be useful. We like to be part of a team when we're doing that. And then we'll throw elbows at who's in charge of that team, and we want to get in there and move it. This provides all of that. You can find a team that you can get into, you can get involved, you can volunteer at the level you want, or you could just financially support them or share it with your company and say, hey, this is a great organization, we should support them. I think all of that's on that hub, but it also gives you what's going on legislatively. It also gives you what's going on trend-wise in the veteran community. So there's a lot of good information there. And so share it. I mean, we want to make sure as many veterans see that as possible. And if you know a veteran support organization that even if it's a 2-person organization or 1-person team that's trying to do something in your local town, let them know about us, and we'll be happy to reach out to them and help them get more exposure, help tell their story, get more veterans to go into their direction. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Thanks for that, Jim. Well, so a couple articles hit off pretty tight for me. I know, for me, suicide, homelessness are bottom line to me are just like, it's still unacceptable that we're at the place that we're at with both of those. Now that doesn't touch everybody. I say with both, you know, unless you've had somebody in your family or know somebody that's been with these may not be the priorities, right? So for some veterans, the complete understanding that mental wellness, access to care, some of these other things are going to be way higher for them just based off of their life and kind of how they're living in general. And I completely understand that. So Yvette wrote a really good article that kind of talks about words matter. And I kind of look over here because I want to pull this data. Her thing is like, you know, words matter, but definitions shouldn't delay help. So here's some interesting thing, and hopefully we're informing and educating some of you guys as well on this. There's a lot of new terms now, Jim, in the homeless space, right? You have homeless, you have unhoused, you have unsheltered, and you have risk of homelessness. And there's more. I'm just giving a couple here that right. She kind of talked about here. The key kind of takeaways from this is that each term means a little bit different for the person that is reading it. Right. So to be the same thing with me and you. If I said, hey, such and such is unsheltered, what you perceive will be different than what I perceive. Right. Yeah. And so her whole point is like, hey, at the end of the day, if somebody doesn't have permanent, stable place to live, right, where every day they're coming in and out, they have the amenities that they require to live a life, they're homeless. Just like, so the real problem, as she kind of points out here, is where you start to see that pendulum swing is through the policies and the processes that are put in place based off the term. Yeah. So to expand on that, last year, if you remember, we did a research page. So we went in, we researched homelessness, right? We went out, asked veterans a bunch of questions. All of this stuff started coming in about it. So, and Nate will show the page here in just a second. So on the page, what we learned is that there was all these numbers. You remember, I think you and I, we talked about the homelessness number came from the VA. And then we met somebody that was in the homeless space and they gave us a number. It was like, these numbers were all over the place. We go in and did research. And what we found out is that there is at a minimum 33,000 veterans that are homeless. The problem is we have no idea where the ceiling is. Like we have no idea how many veterans. And again, it goes back to the terms. Yeah. Because the way that the person that's counting, right, the point in time when they go out and they do, some right. states don't do it. The way that they account for them is different. Some states, if you're in a tent, you're housed, right? Some, if you're in a car, you're housed. So this brings up how do you fix a problem when the definitions are all different, right? Across the thing. So I think my kind of question to you, Jim, is like, how important is it for not only us as an organization, but I think other organizations that are in this space to create a common understanding of homelessness to truly help veterans, not just at the government level, but also at the local level?
Yeah, I think with the fragmentation of definition, as we kind of fragment the impact that homelessness has in our country, and especially in the veteran community. So does it really make a difference if you're unsheltered or homeless? No. The fact is you don't have a home. And if we really think about the numbers, there are tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of veterans that are in a position that they don't have a stable home. They don't have a stable apartment. They don't have a stable place to live because financially they're one flat tire away from not being able to pay rent. So that is a huge problem. We don't know the number, to Ray, to your point, because we do a point in time survey. I mean, one day a year, people go out and count and figure out how many people are homeless. That's a much less than accurate way to do it. So we have to, I don't understand why we don't have a continual barometer to test, to figure out how many people we have homeless by county, throughout the United States, and know where it is and see where the trends are and see what we can as a community fix it. Because I think the problem is much larger than we understand it to be. And it's not just taking people off the street or out of the field and put him in a home or a shelter for a stable piece of time. It's about getting them integrated back into community, about getting them a stable job, about getting them a good home life, and taking care of them physically and mentally. You could I mean, there's no one that is homeless that has a good medical program happening, right? It's very hard to see a doctor on a regular basis or as you need if you're homeless. So all those things interact with each other. So it's a scourge.
Yeah.
It gets me fired up that we as a nation don't know the number. And that's why we need to make sure we're working together on this. And that's why we have that veteran resource group on there. I mean, is that the panacea for everything? Is that going to be the thing that fixes homelessness? No, but it's a step in the right direction to get people pointed to the assets that they need so they can get resources and they can get help. So, I mean, the only community that's going to fix this is the veteran community.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not some senator up in DC. I can guarantee you that. It's no one political party that's going to do it, because if that's the case, we would have had it already fixed.
Yeah.
So this is one of those problems that is difficult. It's multi-layered, and the only way you do it is rolling up your sleeves and working together across the veteran community, and putting our shoulders into it.
Yeah. And I know we talked, Jim, and we talked about this a couple times here, is like, you know, a lot of folks it's like, hey, this is a VA problem or and it's, yeah, they're part of the pie, but this pie is really big. And that pie includes, you know, city, county, state level people as well, right? Like this is a much broader problem. Laws locally cause a lot of friction also about what can and can't be done. So this is, you know, part of why we're doing the MPO symposiums, and that's a great lead in, by the way, but I didn't mean to do that. But with the MPO symposiums is part of that, right? Because we want to make sure that connection process is happening, because we need local level veteran organizations and MPOs to understand the data, the problem, so that they can help fix it through their elected leaders. And that elected leaders got to start at the bottom. It can't just be the VA. You know, the VA can only do so much, and they're trying. I mean, they are. And I think the VA has been trying a really long time. So I don't, but we've got to get better at this. This is a problem. That's not even including, we're not even getting into the numbers that people are housed, you know, veterans that are housed that don't have what we would call high speed internet. And I know for some here, it's like, oh, what do you mean high speed internet? Okay. Dial up, anything over dial up is called high speed internet. So there's people on, you know, there's veterans on this planet. There's about 1 million of them that don't have high speed internet. Right. And that's just one. That doesn't include rural veterans, and like the list goes on and on and on and on. So there's a part of this that, you know, we've got to own as veterans to take care of each other. And the problem is it's getting bigger. And the reason it's getting bigger is because you still got generations of veterans that are coming out. Right. And they're going to continue to filter out and do all that. So we have an opportunity as a group, as a family, to make the impact that we need to make. Howard, thank you so much.
And that's why, just to go back, and that's why it's so important for our voices to be heard, so that this doesn't get buried, because let's face it, hard problems are hard for a reason.
That's right.
And sometimes it's easier for congressmen and senators, and I hate to poke a finger at them, but to go to the easy way. And this is a complex problem, but we need to make sure that it's still front and center to lawmakers, to people that are controlling budgets at the VA and others. And so that's why that polling is important. And, you know, the veteran community gets it, because homelessness and suicide is always
keeps going. That's right. Yeah.
So they understand that. So the people that are listening is kind of preaching to the choir to some degree, but it's about expanding that choir to get to more and more people.
Absolutely. Howard, appreciate it. Howard wrote excellent website, great info there. Interesting read. We appreciate that, Howard. Thanks for coming in. Hopefully you're enjoying our articles. We do have a poll, so everybody knows there's a survey or a poll that's on this page. I don't know if we have a link for it, but it's like literally, if you're on the page for this, that asks 2 questions. 1, do you like these town halls? And 2, what would you like us to add? So very simple. You guys can go to the poll page, or you can actually go to where this is currently live on the website to watch those. Okay, Jim. So the next one that so new series, I had nothing to do with this, by the way. I mean, this is the awesome team that we have. I don't know where this came from, but I absolutely love it. I read the series yesterday afternoon and about fell out of my chair, because I was like, man, who put this together? We need it. But it's called What My Therapist Wished I Known Before I Left the Service series. We've got 3 veterans on here. Like I I mean, Jim, you know, I don't like to read, right? I much prefer just pictures, you know, like if we just do cartoons. I
Right.
remember Saturday
Yeah.
mornings, you know, opening up the newspaper. I know for those that don't know, we used to get newspaper and they used to be, you could actually read them, but you'd read them and there'd be the comics in there. That was me. I went in and read these and immediately was like, I need more of these. Like that, I really love the series. It sounds like it's going to be a series of articles. It may be more than this. We had an opportunity to talk to Sean, which is a 25-year veteran, Brandon, a 23-year veteran, and
Yeah.
Gina, that's an 18-year veteran. So I suspect that this thing's going to probably blow out a little bit. We're probably going to have more of these because I really like it. I'm interested to get feedback from those. But for Jim, I talked a little bit about transition earlier, the importance of reading and stuff. But from your perspective, how important is it for the veteran to tell their story? Right. I know we don't like to tell it, but sometimes it's a little cathartic to talk about the things that you've done. And then how important is it for somebody to read that story that may be transitioning?
Yeah, I think it's vitally important because, for one, I think it is important to share the challenges you have, because I think all of us want to make it better for our families. We want to make it better for, I mean, you think about every organization you were in, that you led, that you were part of, you always tried to make it a little bit better than when you found it. And I think it's the same way when you think about your career and the challenges you've had in your career and in your service, to share that with those that you love, but also to those that are behind us. I mean, every year about 200,000 new veterans are minted coming out of the services, and many of them are going to fall into the same potholes and have to climb the same hills that we are. And if we can just say to them, go to the little left here, don't forget about that, don't forget to bring this with you.
That's right.
It can make all the difference in the trajectory. And the difference, it's that old adage of, there by the grace of God go I. And sometimes just one misstep followed by some bad luck can get you down the road that it's really hard to now get out of. And I think that happens a lot with folks with homelessness. I think it happens a lot with people in transitions, that they're not doing as well as they thought they would be doing, because maybe they just didn't see some of the headwinds. And so I think these are, and I applaud them, the folks that we have that have shared that with, because it's very important for them to share that, but it's also, you give up a little bit of your privacy to share that. So I applaud them for doing that, because they're doing it out of a good spot in their heart, not, hey, look at me. It's this is what you can learn from what I did, and these are some of the challenges I had. So, I applaud them for doing that, and I hope people take the time to read it and share it with folks. And it could be folks that are serving right now, or even somebody who's been out for years that missed some gate along the way that's always caused them a little issues, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. In life, I don't need to be a badge protector. So anything I can do to help somebody not make the same mistakes as me just seems like an easy yes, right? So that's what I love most about these stories. Just talking to people. I mean, every day I learn something.
And every one of them, Sean, Gina, Brandon, all of those stories had a theme.
It does,
related to each other to some extent, right? And but different in their own way.
That's right.
And I think all of us have that, and we can share it. And that's the whole idea of the hub system that we have, right? That we want to share this information. We will be transparent. We want our voices to be heard. We want to share it. That's right. Because if we can help people, that's what this is all about.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Hey, I'm going to come back to you guys in the crowd. Don't forget, if you guys have a question or you need anything as we're talking, just ask, right? We'll be more than happy to pull up the question and answer it. Ray, good to see you. Thank you very much, man. We are lucky and humbled to be able to serve veterans and their families, man. This is, I said a long time. So in the military, I did a little bit of, dog stuff. I was a dog trainer kind of guy. And I used to say I loved waking up in the morning, spraying out poop, because I couldn't believe that the military paid me to do that. Like, it was the best thing ever, right? Just get to throw a toy and the dog would go chase it. I'm like, this is amazing. And now I feel the same way, that I'm humbled every day to wake up and try to make an impact to somebody else. So we appreciate you guys giving us the ability. All right, Jim, we talk about the Military Appreciation Month. That's easy. Everybody, when they get out of the military, you all become veterans. Congratulations. You done it. So with that, Jim, we created the honor wall. And the whole idea with the honor wall is, for us, for you, for me, for the rest of our staff, there was a thing up there. There it is right there. Every day we want to celebrate veterans. This is not a one-day thing for us. So this honor wall for everybody that's here, if you know somebody, all you got to do is go to the page, go to the link, hit the add hero button. Nate, go ahead and click the add hero just so we can watch this. When you click it, it's going to pop up. This is it. Veteran's name, last name, the branch of service, rank, right? Some of it we need, some of it we don't. And then put in there and just tell us a quick story about the individual. Like, it's literally that simple. That's what we would like from you guys is, okay, he just demoted me to private. Okay. All right. I see where this is going right now.
Yeah, you did such a good job. I want you to do it again.
Yeah. Start over. But the whole idea is you guys submit it. So if you're a family member, submit. If you're a friend of somebody, submit. That's the idea, is we want to tell these stories. These stories are important to us. So do that. Along with this, the honor wall in general, Jim, we also have the veteran resource directory. So if you're going to submit somebody, we talk about that submission. If you know somebody that needs help, they need something, they need to be connected locally to a nonprofit or VSO. We made this video real quickly to talk about the veteran resource directory.
Yeah.
So Nate.
Support for this program is provided in part by the Veteran Resource Directory, connecting veterans and their families to trusted services and support across the country. From housing to healthcare and beyond, the VRD makes it easier to find help when and where it's needed most. For information, visit missionrollcall.org.
Easy. Okay. Yeah.
Easy.
So the whole point there, it's a great resource for you guys. It's meant for you. It's meant for your families. That thing will continue to expand into the future. All right, Jim, we had the MPO symposium that happened. The time's flying, by the way. I think like last month or the month before. Yeah. We had that in Fayetteville. It was absolutely amazing event. We have another one coming. So the next one's coming right down the road. It's going to be in Georgia. It's going to be June 3rd. So we're working out the final details. Here's the page. So anybody that's out there, you're part of a veteran service organization or nonprofit organization, you are in the Georgia area, we would love to have you there. When you go to the page, they'll post the link up here so that you guys can actually go to it. Down at the bottom, you guys can RSVP to come in and come hang out with us. There's a lot of these things are going to grow. They're going to get more important as time goes on. One of the things I just want to tell you guys, part of what we love to do is get data, bring that data to help you make, good decisions. Jim, from your perspective, what's the importance of the MPO symposium? Obviously they're going to get data, stuff like that, but What's the other reason that it's so important locally to be bringing MPOs and VSOs together?
Yeah. So important thing to remember, we didn't say VSO symposium. We said NPO symposium, which is nonprofit, right? So we want to make sure that any nonprofit that has any interaction with veterans at all feels free to come here, or they just want to interact with another nonprofit that is involved with veterans, come to this symposium. It's important for us to come together because we did the first one we did, which was it exceeded all expectations, blew it out of the water. We brought some people from the Fayetteville community, and you can imagine how many nonprofits in the veteran space there are in the Fayetteville community. There's a few. And many of them worked a few blocks from each other and never had met. And more than that, hadn't worked together. So we brought them in a room and let them speak about what they're doing first, what the challenges they, and then somebody in the room said, well, I have the same challenge and I have this, oh, we're doing that as well. Let's talk. And so it just brought us together. And you think about the power then that you have as a community. You take that's in a microcosm. Think about that at scale across the country. And that's why we're doing these symposiums across the country. But it's also via the website, having all those organizations there that now are sharing information, how much more powerful we are when it comes to getting bills passed, to getting recognition that is needed for veterans. When we go in there, it's a different conversation when you're representing a couple thousand constituents than if you're going into a room and saying, listen, let me talk to you about the 30 million veterans and their families, because 18 plus 2 or 3, you're fast up there, right? Of how many millions of Americans are impacted by veterans issues and benefits and access and suicide prevention, all those things. And so that's what these things do. but at the microcosm of the community. And how do you fix big problems? One step at a time, in communities, and then states, and then you bring it all together. And that's what we're doing. And it's gotten a lot of visibility within the veteran space. I think it's getting a lot of momentum. And I think it's going to continue to grow. And then hopefully other organizations will take the baton and do it as well.
Yep.
I mean, we want to see other organizations do this as well. We don't want to just own it. We want to share the technology. We want to share the thought process and make sure that we're moving the ball down the field. We don't care who gets the score. We just want to move the ball down the field.
That's right. Yeah. I love that. So like the enablement of being successful, right? Of impacting veterans. That's good. Ray, the best thing, good to have you here also, man. Thank you for posting a couple times now. But you can go to the page, go ahead and fill out the data on that page, and then the team will figure out if you can come in, man. No issues at all. We want anybody that's interested to just post up. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, we want people there that want to do meaningful change for veterans. Like that's the basis of what the MPO symposiums are about. So if that includes you, submit and let's let the team know. Okay, Jim. So we talked about the MPO symposium. So everybody, please go, please register if you're interested. We want it. Share it with friends. I put a thing on LinkedIn today for anybody that follows me, which was only like 2 people that follow me. I'm just kidding. I got more than that. But for those that read, I don't put out that often. But when I do, if you guys can share that with folks that you know in Georgia, that'd be very appreciative. We really want folks to attend. It's not about my numbers. I don't care about that stuff. I want as many veterans impacted as possible. And we're lucky to be able to be moving into Georgia for this next one. Jim, I talked about the survey earlier. We're going to hit on it again because this month, very important. And it's not just this month. It's going to be kind of going forward. You guys are going to hear the rhetoric a little bit from us because the idea now is it's simple, right? So before, we haven't really been leading you to water. You know, it's that old adage, taking a horse to water and then waiting to drink. Okay, well, now we're starting to pull you to the water to let you know that you all have a voice. We know for a fact now. Like we thought that we knew that a year ago. We know now you have a voice. People are listening. They're asking us for your voice, literally. So we need you to start growing this. We need to hear what you think. And listen, we're not trying to put you in a box either. I don't personally care. Neither does Jim or the rest of our team what you care. But here's the reality. We all fought for freedom of speech, for you to have your own opinions, right? We all have different experiences. We all live differently. So we need that though, because that portion is what helps shape the future. So we need that. And if you don't want to do it for yourself, I understand. I'm very similar to this. Then we need you to do it for the generations of veterans that are coming. Okay. I love telling the story about the American Legion. The American Legion had not done the GI Bill. None of us would have got college and still would not get college moving forward. So imagine if nobody was doing this. So you all have an opportunity to impact those that are following us. I don't want anybody to end their service and be worried about cancer and being homeless and not having access to care, all of these things. Like we have the ability to shape it the appropriate way for those that are coming. So please take 5, 10, 15 minutes each month and go and take these. Jim, so with this survey, can you give just kind of like a quick overview of the executive order 14401? I'm just going to read a little bit and then that way you can talk about it. But basically it's accelerating medical treatments for serious mental illness. It's directing federal agencies to expand research into new approaches for treating PTSD, TBI, and related conditions. So as you can see here, as policymakers consider how to move from research to real world access, key questions remain around safety, evidence, and the role of the VA. And look, a lot of this, Jim, came from people sending us notes going, hey, we should be doing this, we should be doing that. And we've started that. So please.
This is an absolutely perfect example of your voice being heard and then that being amplified by what we can do at Congress, at Senate, and more importantly, through the media. Right, because getting the light on an important subject helps move action. Because when they get attention from the press, when it's on radio, when it's on TV, and it's in the newspaper, then those in power will make some decisions a little bit faster. And this is important because it speeds up the process of getting the health care that you need. It opens up using psychedelics and other things that have been shown to make an impact, a positive impact in rehabilitation and TBI. and in PTSD and some other things. I'm just going to refer to my notes here a little bit because it is a complex bill, but some of the other things that it does is, and I think this is important, it makes the Food Drug Administration, the FDA, and the DEA to kind of work together to make sure that the pathway for patients, the right of those patients to get the help that they need. It also speeds up scheduling. We know through survey data and others that sometimes these things took too long for people to get the access that they need, to get the help that they needed. And this forces that process. And the president signed it, I think, on April 18th, that bill. And so it's moved through, and there was a couple champions to that. But they used the data, and we were cited in the process of the data right in the beginning of, here's what veterans are telling us. These are the pain points. This is what they need. And it just reinforces what I talked about earlier, is that if we can give that information to lawmakers and the folks that are writing the bill, it's just that much powerful. And look, now we have a bill that's gone through, and it's going to make a big difference. It's going to save lives.
That's right.
And if you didn't do anything else, we did that. Right. And there's a whole bunch of other ones that we're working, and we as a community, not just us, others as well. And so I think it's important that we share that information. And then the other thing we do is make sure we hold them accountable. It's easy to put that in the bill, right? It's easy to write that up and sign it, and that's great, and we congratulate them, but it's also following up and making sure through future surveys that we're seeing an improvement, and that veterans are getting the access, right? And we all saw that there was veterans having to go to Mexico and other countries to get the some of the experimental procedures that they wanted to do that had shown great promise, but wasn't going through the process here fast enough. That changes that. And so that's all good news.
Yeah. I mean, freedom of choice. I mean, it's the one thing, like, we're not picking sides. I'm not
Exactly.
that's what other agencies do. Our point though is, veterans have asked for freedom of choice, man. Like, that's it. That's what we're asking for. So this is a good thing. Andre, I just want to appreciate you. Thank you so much for posting that to the veterans group, man. We are very thankful for you doing that, man. And please keep doing that. You guys, again, it's literally 5-10 minutes of y'all's time. And trust me, the outlay of this is really important. We got Vet Mentors LLC, great information being shared. Thank you so much. The veterans community truly need to know there are people who really care. Well, we do, because we've lived that life. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, Vet Mentors LLC, for all you do as well. All right, Jim. Well, hey, man, this is probably one of my favorite parts. I love talking about all of the other stuff that we're doing. Yeah. You know me, though. It's not about us, right? It's about the veterans. So we're humble that we get the opportunity. What I really love to do, though, is talk about organizations that are making unbelievable impact. So we asked the team to go out, find folks that are out there doing. We've got the Veteran Resource Directory and all that. This week's special organization is really focused on honoring the fallen and strengthening the living. So those are two very unique areas, right? Which sometimes we forget. I love that you were talking about honoring the fallen, and sometimes we forget about the families. And then on the other side, we sometimes forget about our battle buddies because we get so focused in life. So I love that there's an organization at the local level that is focused on that. We talk a lot about national organizations and the great work that they do, but even us from our own words, like, hey, our part of this, we all have a part to play. So we have to talk about the 44,000 VSOs that are out there. And some people are like, there's too many. And I'm like, well, okay, there's 18 million veterans, man. 44,000 probably ain't enough. And I'm telling you, it ain't enough, because obviously not everybody's getting the help that they need. But having an organization like this, that's at that ground level, that is literally putting their hands on veterans and impacting them, is as important as all of the other ones that we talk about. So they're focused in that local community. What I loved, I went through all their stuff. I was all up in his, Facebook and looking around. Not that I was doing it for the right reason. It was research. Yeah. But part of the reason I wanted to see what they were doing as an organization, they do walk in the park. Great. Physical fitness, right? We talk about the impacts of doing that. They do veteran connects. That could be coffee. That could be going to dinner, lunch together, just going out, being connected with another veteran. Community service, right? I talk about Team Rubicon during my transition and how vital that organization was to allow me to continue to give back in my local community when I had lost myself. Like, I would have lost myself more if I had not been out there tearing down houses after natural disasters and helping them rebuild themselves. So today I'm happy to introduce Patrick Rogers. He's a United States Marine Corps veteran and the president and founder of All Vets in Henry County, Virginia. So Patrick, my friend, welcome to the Mission Roll Call Town Hall, buddy.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, absolutely, man. We're just humbled that you decided to come on with us, man. So I think, man, there's a lot of questions. I've got like 200 questions here for you. I'm just kidding. I think my very first question to help everybody that's here, tell us just a little bit about All Vets, like kind of why you started it and what you guys do on a daily basis.
Yeah, so All Vets, like you said, we're very, very local to our community, and the reason we are is the community itself is it's small, and we want to get as close to the veterans that are next door to us as we can. Oftentimes, we, like you said, we look at national things, we see things on Instagram, Facebook, but there are a lot of veterans that are next door to us, that live right down the road, that work beside of us, and there's a lot of people who have veterans in their family who do not even know that they're family members. And our goal, one of our goals, is to get all of those people together in a comfortable place where we can help them and others as well.
Yeah, no, that makes good. Yeah, I'm just, you started saying that, I'm like, man, are my neighbors vets? Like, I just immediately started going down the thing, because you get busy in life, man. I think there used to be a time when I would get a little bit upset that somebody didn't know that, but then like you realize life, man, life's hard. You're just trying to, you're trying to live on this rock that's spinning and do your own thing. And sometimes it's not that you forget about other people. It's just sometimes it's hard. It's not a natural question to ask somebody, hey, were you a veteran? Unless they've got, US flags all over them, like I do all the time.
Yeah, but veterans as well, they often don't speak up about that.
That's right.
Either.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's a great point. I mean, it's something that we talk about all the time, is we don't like talking about ourselves. And I really don't want to talk about my service. It's not that I'm not ashamed of it. I'm happy of it. It's just sometimes the questions that come are just not questions I know how to answer, because it's just very unique. So for you, like what preempted that? Like, how did you want to start this? Like, because obviously something had to have happened where you're like, I want to get involved with this and do this.
Yeah.
So, like, again, I look around, I see all my fellow veterans, and you look at the strength in the living part. And I'm like, all these people at one time in their life were able to perform on a high level, whether it be mentally, whether it be physically, whether it be, any of that. So, and I look around and I'm like, a lot of them are having a hard time getting up and going back and forth from the buffet.
That's right.
So I'm like, we need to do something to help out, give them an opportunity, give them a place to go, give them people just like they are, who have been through the same thing they are and are in the same place they are, and says, hey, you come back, walk, run, roll, stroll, whatever it is that you need to do to help better yourself. That's one thing that I noticed. The other thing is, and this is sad to say, I think, that you look out and all too often, Veterans Day, Memorial Day, all these ceremonies or presentations or whatever, they're getting less and less and less attendance. And so our goal was to bring veterans and their service to the forefront. And if, hey, if nothing else, we'll stick it in their face. We'll stick it in everyone's face for you.
Yeah, no, that's, I mean, that's we love that you guys are doing it. It's something we talk about here a lot. It's why Veterans Day for us is every day. Memorial Day for us is every day. September 11th, every day, right? Like this is like, this will never, it's never going away. The only way it does go away is organizations like you and Patrick, you as a person, are not continuously echoing that and getting out there like we should. And we applaud you, man, for doing that. What kind of impact are you seeing at your level from this, now that you've kind of been rolling into this?
Yeah, so we see we're seeing a big impact. We're seeing I'm seeing two different impacts. One impact I see from family members and loved ones of veterans, and then I see an impact from veterans. And the family members and loved ones of veterans, they're coming out because they want to know more, and maybe they can help relate to their veteran. The other thing is veterans will come out for service, service type things like community service and all that, because that's just how they're driven. They're service driven. And so you want to get more veterans out, have a community service, something to do community service, and you'll get more there than you will if you say, hey, we're going to do this over here. They will come out to serve.
Yeah.
They have not
We
lost
love it.
that, most of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that, Patrick. You got like a bunch of Marines, I can tell in the comments here. You got Barry saying Semper Fi. Pat came in, great name, Auto Trust. You've got Pat came in, Vet Health Matters. Good on you. Jonathan says, Marine Corps, very big, right? Like can't do Marine Corps is huge. Hell yeah, Marine. And then of course, Vet Mentors LLC said, thank you, Patrick Rogers, for getting veterans active. So I don't think we have to really say much, man. Like you already know, Jason told us a lot about you. We were all in from the get-go, but the community is obviously all in with what you guys are doing there. How can folks learn about All Vets, the events that you're doing, stuff like that?
Yeah, so we have a very active Facebook page. We have a fairly new website. You can get us on Facebook through the links of just All Vets. You can also look up all-vets.com, and that is our website. We do have a calendar there of events that we do. We are extremely active with events, putting them out on Facebook. You'll see a lot of them pinned up top. We ask that, contact us, reach out to us. If you just want to talk, that's fine too. If you want to come out and do something, that's fine. But we also, when we have large events, we put those out there like you would any other event, any promotion of any other event. Like we do like you talked about mentioned 9/11. We do a 9/11 stair climb here in our area at the Martinsville NASCAR Speedway. And we put that out just like anyone else would if they want to participate, join, come in. Cool. We have our Memorial Day ruck that's coming up real soon. The Memorial Day ruck. So this is a good idea of how it's grown. So the first year we did the Memorial Day ruck, we had 13 individuals go out and ruck 22 miles, and we carried about 250 flags in honor of veterans that people purchased those flags for their veteran. The second year, which was last year, we had about 24 people come out, and we rucked about 25 miles doing the same thing, and flag sales were up over 300. This year, we have 53 people that's going to ruck 20 miles through our county and city, and we're in not this weekend, but next weekend, and we've got tons of flags to carry. So the word's getting out there. More veterans are getting involved with it. The community is seeing it. The community's enjoying it. The first time we did it, we offer, and this is a big, I guess this is kind of a matrix for me to see. The first year we did it, we said, hey, come walk the last mile. Join the ruck team for the last mile. We come to a parking lot where the mile was supposed to start. There was about 100 people there that was going to walk a mile with us. They were just citizens and veterans and that stuff. I thought that was great first time around. Last year, we had about 150 to 175. So there's more people, families, loved ones, friends, and veterans as well that want to come out and take part. And if we can honor our fallen while doing something to keep the rest of us healthy and strong, then that's even better.
I love that.
Yeah. No, we love that. Yeah, that's very good. I know Jason's going to take part in that with you guys from our team. So yeah, we'd love to promote that. I think it's May 23rd is the date that I saw for those that are interested. So if you're there, the other thing I would tell everybody is like, look, you don't need to be in Virginia, right, to support this movement that Patrick and his team and All Vets are doing. It's just as simple, man, for you guys to go out, grab a flag or two, throw it and grab some friends, go out, walk, and then send them pictures. It's just as meaningful. It's all on Memorial Day a lot, man, about the idea that we're celebrating, and there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. I'm not going to get into that right now on this, get a little emotional, but the point of that is like, go out, do something, help others understand the day. It's a celebration in many ways where we're still here. We still got to make an impact. We still can support the community and do the things that we do. So Patrick, we appreciate what you guys are doing, and all vets will continue to support you guys, man. We look forward to the relationship with you guys, not only this year, but moving forward. And if you need anything from us, you've got a speed dial to Jason and the team. So just tell us what you need, buddy. And we appreciate you. Thank you for your service also.
Yeah, thank you. And we appreciate what you all are doing. We appreciate the opportunity to partner with you all. It's one thing that you said, and I really want to tell you is we 100% agree with every veteran has a story. It don't matter what the story is, and that story needs to be heard by someone.
That's right.
Thank
Totally
you.
agree. Well, we appreciate you, Patrick. We're going to talk to you soon, man. And
Thank you.
and we'll see you on the next one here from this side.
Thank you, Patrick.
All right, Jim, I think we've hit the end. I don't see a lot of questions in the thing. That's okay. I do see Andre posted up. I noticed a lot of Legion and VFW halls have turned into just local community centers and have less vets just to make enough money. Andre, one of the things so Jason, there's a couple folks that are on the team here, Andre, that we actually went into American Legion, VFW, those, lifetime members, many of us, because we've seen the work that they do. From a post level, what I've come to realize is that the posts are different, and sometimes it's hard. Our generation is different than like the generation that's behind us or the generation that's in front of us. So what we find to be impactful, and Patrick's a prime example. What I wanted to do when I left service, Jason's doing it right now. I'm doing it. Basically, the MRC team is we want to impact the community. I want to impact as many people as possible, man, because we grew up in times of impacting others. So that was a really easy transition. I think in the past it's different, right? Like they had they wanted to be around their brothers and sisters. The loss was different back then. And being able to just sit down and crack a beer was cathartic for them. That's the way that they do it. And it's going to be interesting moving forward, because even now, I still remember the last formation I was in, that everybody who was in a formation was on their phones. That ain't what happened when I joined, right? We didn't even have phones. I think we have pagers or something. I don't even know if we have pagers, to be honest. I think we had those big Sprint phones that were in the cars. But but you know what I mean? So like this next generation is going to have a whole nother part of this. I think us as veterans, if we want these organizations, American Legion and VFW, and listen, all of them have a place, by the way. So for those that are wishing that these organizations would not, that is not a good plan. And it's not a good plan because those are the organizations that are representing all of us right now, at the top level. So the question then becomes, do we help them change? And are they willing to change? That's kind of the two questions. So Jim, I don't know if you had anything else to add on that.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Every generation has its own tact on what it is that they want to do together. And I think what we're trying to do is give the ability through our website to go to the organizations that are going to be better for you. And that's just not a one and done too, because it changes. All of us that are a little bit older have been involved with a number of different organizations in different chapters of our lives. And so I think it's important to continue to be involved, but figure out the way it is that you have the best impact at the time in your life. Sometimes you have a lot of free time, but when you're younger and you're starting a family and you got young ones at home, you probably don't have a whole lot of time. When you get a little bit older and a little bit more resources, then you can spend a little bit more time to give money, to get involved and spend more of your off time to get involved. So I think there's no right or wrong.
That's right.
It's just adapting, I think, a little bit. But I think it's important for organizations to be adaptive and to listen to their constituents. And I hope we always do that. And I think that's important.
Yeah. Okay. Lonnie had a question. I love these type of questions, by the way. Lonnie says, I have a question. With as many predatory VSOs in the country, how do we know that we are working with a legit org? So I'm going to give you mine, and then I know Jim will give you his.
Okay.
So first and foremost, I look at an organization simple, right? So I'm old school. If I ask of an organization, if the organization tells me they do a thing, and I ask them to do that thing, and they don't do the thing, that's not really being predatory. That just tells me they're probably not the best VSO or the MPO for me, right? Because at the end of the day, I judge what you do based off of the impact that you're making. So if an organization, a VSO, MPO, are truly impacting their constituents the appropriate way, or their recipients, then to me, they're not predatory, right? They're doing the right thing moving forward. If, however, that organization is not doing that, then I immediately, that's not about being predatory. I just want to be supporting organizations that are doing what they say they're doing. There's going to be a lot of other folks that tell you, man, you go to charity, Charity Navigator, you can look at their financials, all of that stuff, right? Like, and I'm one of those guys a long time ago that was like, yeah, hey, you can go through and look. I mean, that does not completely tell you the story, though. At the end of the day, I want to know that the organization is doing what the organization said. And sometimes it's just sending them a simple message and seeing how long it takes you to get a reply, especially if it's a need. Sometimes it's that simple. And then also understanding each organization is different. Some are providing a service, and some are not, right? Like there's a variation of what these things are. So understand the organization, challenge them to do the things that they say that they're doing. And as long as you see them doing what they're supposed to do, then you have to make that choice if it's an organization that you want to support. That's the best part. You get to choose. And that's what matters. So Jim, I don't know if you had anything to add to that.
Not much. All I would say is that I think everything you said, but the only thing I would add too is that when we do see organizations that are predatory and that are trying to take advantage of veterans, and they're out there, we share it with the community so that it's like a landmine, right? You got to mark it. Right. And we want to make sure no one else steps on it behind us. So share the info. If you had a bad experience, you should share that as well, so that people know what's going on there, because we want to take care of our community, our family.
Yeah. I mean, and it's hard to find. I mean, especially today, it's really hard to find factual information about an organization through just reviews, because you never know what's real and not real today. I mean, that's the hard part of it. And it's why I think, Jim, you and I were talking about this a couple of weeks ago about just like, I simply can rate an organization by what they do when I ask them to do the thing. Right. Yeah. So I think in our part, but when we look at organizations that come in the Veteran Resource Directory, I know the team gets really frustrated sometimes because we want them to talk to them and we want to understand them and we want to talk to their CEOs and all of them, because listen, if those folks are passionate, right? If they're willing to get on a call, with the lowest person in our organization, because to us, we're all the same. We're all vets here. I know we got titles and like but we're all vets. So it doesn't matter if it's a finance manager or it's the chief operating officer or the chief executive officer. If that person is willing to get on the phone with somebody from our organization and start that process, that gives me the first, okay, all right, they care. Now it's, what do they say when they come on there? Yeah. Right? Do I like Patrick? Patrick's a prime example. There's nothing about that conversation there that made me go, I wonder if no, he's in it. Like he's in it for the right reasons. He wants to be here. He wants all vets to be successful. He wants his stuff to grow. He knows the impact. He wants people to have mental wellness, physical wellness, like all of this. Yeah. That you can't sit on the sidelines, just read a newspaper and know if an organization means what they mean. Like you have to be involved. So
and the organization needs to be transparent on what they're doing. I mean, I think it's great that we do live stream, right? And we're talking right as it's going on and answering questions and pointing people in directions and answering questions as best we can. That's important, I think, for every organization. If you got to be rehearsed and you got to be reading a script, right, that's a different issue.
Yeah. And I mean, we're not going to be, I mean, we said this before. I like saying this. I'm not like, unscripted's good, and we're not going to be perfect. The only way you fix hard problems is you got to try hard solutions. Yeah. And the problem is sometimes folks are a little bit nervous to try hard solutions to get the right problem fixed. And that's just not the way that our organization right now looks. And a lot of the organizations we're partnering with are the same way. They want to make impact. They want to hang at some because we need suicide to end. We need homelessness to end. We need veterans to have the proper health care, like all of these things. Yeah. That doesn't mean I need to talk ill of people or lead people down the wrong path, because there is a process. We got to be smarter than that, but we need the voices. So I appreciate that question, Lonnie. Thank you so much. Andre, thank you guys. Everybody that's here, as always, we appreciate you guys. Jim, this is your opportunity to kind of lead us out with any final comments you have on your side, brother.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Great conversation. Love this. I could do this every day. I just love talking to other organizations. You always learn something by the questions you're asked, talking to other organizations, talking amongst each other. It rejuvenates you. And you know that the impact and what you're doing is making a difference. I would say, Memorial Day is going to be between today and when we have our next call. So I would ask, based on what we talked about today, get involved on Memorial Day. I mean, you can celebrate it any way you want, right? I mean, having a barbecue, having people over. But I think it's important for us to let people know what this day's about. Maybe go to an event that we've not gone to before. Even, if it's a small organization that's doing a memorial event, if it's going to a cemetery, if it's doing, just get involved. And more importantly, we understand on this call, those that have served, the importance of Memorial Day, but sometimes people around us don't. And it's not any fault of their own. They just didn't grow up in that. They didn't have that experience. Maybe they didn't come from a family that had somebody that was in the service, or they or themselves didn't serve, or maybe it just got past them. Let's help them understand it. Let's show them the importance as a nation to acknowledge this day and to get involved. So I would just ask, if you don't have any plans this Memorial Day, you make plans. And get involved somewhere in some way, shape, or form.
Yep, that's right. Well, thank you, Jim, as always. Appreciate your time and coming into these. We're looking forward to seeing everybody again, June 10th, 11 a.m. CST, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for all the questions today. We appreciate you guys. Lacey, for you, I just posted up the Find Support or Contact Us page. Please contact us. Anytime there's issues, contact us. We're not what I would call like a true service providing organization, but we got plenty of veteran resource directory people. We're going to find somebody. I look at us just like a network connector. We will do the best that we can to connect you and get this veteran the help that the veteran needs. Andre, we appreciate you also coming in today and then connecting, and everybody else there. And your final kind of thing here. Thank you for your service, for all the veterans that are there, for the families. Thank you so much for letting us borrow your family members, and we'll see you guys on June 10th. Have a good one.